that, of course, is a story for another day, and I'll see you, and we'll talk about that down the road. Welcome, wrestling fans. You got the show, Bill Schuyler, here at One Wrestling NXT News and Reviews. And my God, what a night we had. Tonight was NXT's Takeover Respect, coming at you from Full Sail University, October 7th, 2015, just to make it official. And again, this event was mind-blowing. NXT puts on these takeover events, and they are the best in the business. But tonight, in my opinion, just truly raised the bar and set a new mark for NXT, and something that the main roster on Raw and SmackDown should be paying attention to. And as far as the other guys out there, TNA, Ring of Honor, Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, all the indies, New Japan, pay attention. These guys are ready for war. You want to talk about Raw is war, you want to talk about the Monday Night Wars. Let's just talk about NXT Wrestling. Is exactly what I said. It is NXT Wrestling, pro wrestling, not sports entertainment. This is an old school, I've said it over and over again, old school style with the new glitz and glamour of the big lights, bright city, all that goodness. And it comes right down to the fact that these guys and gals down here are tearing up the mat, fighting from pillar to post in the squared circle, and they're here to wrestle. Enjoy it. Expect it to continue to grow and become bigger and bigger as they're touring throughout the States. They're getting ready to go over to the UK. They're going to have a big takeover event there in London at Wembley Stadium. You can't get much bigger than that. And the word being that Lord Steven Regal, William Regal, whatever you want to call him, okay, is going to retire officially and have his last match at NXT TakeOver in London. But I digress, and jumping that far, let's talk about tonight. You opened up, they had a big-time inspiring intro, just grabbing you right by the heart and letting you know that this was going to be a special night. We open up with the semi-final matches for the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, the inaugural. Finn Balor and Samoa Joe going up against Dash and Dawson, the Mechanics, a true blue tag team. These guys are, if you want to talk old school, they are exactly that. Dash Wilder, Scott Dawson, a tag team that has been together since before NXT. They even talked about that here, how they were a team down south, especially through the Carolinas, which brings you to understand why they have the style they do. That style being that of Crockett Promotions, Mid-South, just NWA style. These guys are like Arn and Tully Blanchard, Arn Anderson, Tully Blanchard of the Horsemen, later on to the Brainbusters in the WWE, the Minnesota Wrecking Crew, if you will, of the Andersons, Ole and Arn, and just the way they work in the ring. And we're going to talk about that here. Let's get at that. We got immediately things went ass over tit, as they say. Finn Balor tossed out of the ring. Samoa Joe comes in on the offense. Then we get into a bunch of frequent tags, and they are just beating Joe up. Samoa Joe is not usually the kind of guy that's getting a lot of offense on him, but Dash and Dawson, the Mechanics, were doing it to him. Finn tagged in, and he was in control. He hit a crash and burn over the top rope, taking out both opponents. We had drop kicks galore. Then there was an injury to Finn Balor's left knee, and in true Anderson style, they double teamed and continued to work that knee. Both men tagging in frequently, in and out, keeping them doing all their business in their corner, not letting Finn Balor get anywhere towards the middle of the ring or towards Joe for the tag, which he desperately was needing as they were beating the living daylights out of the NXT champion. Like I said again, I mean, this was true NWA tag team style. Just tremendous old school Crockett promotion. These guys, this great ring psychology for being so young, and the strategies they had, just out of this world. Hot tag almost there, and just as you think Finn Balor's going to make it out, one of the guys from the other side, I believe it was Dawson, yanks Joe off of the apron, stopping the tag. We then get a close 2 count by Dash on Finn Balor. The hot tag does occur. Samoa Joe is in. Joe comes in on fire right away with a 2 count on Wilder. Joe and Balor just really impressive in this match, but not as much as Dash and Dawson. These guys lived up to. They were my second pick in the seed to win this thing, but Samoa Joe would put him up in the Muscle Buster, tagging in Finn Balor, who would then hit the coup de grace, beating Dash and Dawson. Finn with his knee badly injured. This was an impressive respect for Dash and Dawson by this fan. But Balor and Samoa Joe will move on to the finals. We then continued the semifinal matches with Jordan and Gable, my pick. The number 1 pick by the show to win this whole shebang, going up against Rhyno and the Lone Wolf, Baron Corbin. Jordan and Corbin locking it up right away. Jordan out wrestling the Lone Wolf and its mat skills against brute strength. And Jordan is just impressive here as always. Rhyno was tagged in and it was the same story for him. Gable then in. Rhyno, size and strength overpowering the Olympian. But the crowd is popping huge for Gable. We had multiple pin attempts, 2 counts between both teams. Gable working the left arm, as did Jordan on Rhyno. We had frequent tags in and out. Great armbar submission that Gable hit, taking them over the top rope, holding that arm, wrenching it out, taking it all the way to the 5 count. Corbin would attack Gable. Rhyno continued the beatdown on Chad and tagged in and out with Corbin. Just another traditional old school heel and babyface teams. Jordan and Rhyno's, both teams' psychology absolutely fantastic. They were telling a story in this match. Rhyno went up to the top rope to hit a flying headbutt, missed. We had a hot tag by Chad Gable to Jordan. Corbin got tagged in. Jordan got a hold of maneuvered Rhyno on the top rope, taking Corbin, who ring. Whew, this is crazy, man. Don't mind me if I get a little worked up with this. Rhyno comes tearing across the ring, spear in the corner. Corbin hits a black hole slam on Gable. Jordan breaking up the 2 count before they got to 3. A close call for Chad Gable and Jason Jordan. And then he had a 3 count on Corbin. By this guy's opinion, the ref says no, it was 2. If it was, it was. I mean, literally that close. We're talking a barely. Unbelievable. The crowd just flipping out because they were solidly behind Jordan and Gable because this crowd was willing. And Gable. What would happen with this? We had a gore by Rhyno on Jordan. Corbin would hit the end of days on Chad Gable for the win. Again, the real tag team lost. Two tag teams really won in the fans' eyes, in my eyes, even though they lost their matches. These guys, Jordan and Gable and Dash and Dawson, they're going to go big time in this tag team division that Triple H is fomenting here in NXT and looking to build up more in the main roster. So I expect to see these guys continue because they are two of the absolutely best tag teams I've seen in a long, long time. Our next match, because this just keeps going. There's not a bad one in the bunch. Believe you me, and you're going to hear it, and we're going to get right into it, is the Japanese sensation, the mistress of strong style, Asuka, going up against Dana Brooke with Emma in her corner. The crowd chanting, Asuka's going to kill you, as Brooke made her way out to the ring. Brooke getting a little bold with Asuka, and during a handshake, she actually smacks Asuka. Asuka taking it in every way, smiling at her, and trading slaps. The crowd chanting to Dana Brooke, you effed up, you effed up. She takes out Brooke and then mocks her, doing her move and the whole, that whole Dana Brooke thing. And then this woman, Asuka, is going to change the women's division in NXT and ultimately the women's division up top. Divas, I say no. I believe the Divas is going to go the way of the Dodo Bird, and they're going to get away from the Divas division. You're going to have a women's title back up top, but that's a story for another day. We had Dana going to the ropes, strong kicks to Brooks. Anything that Dana did was countered fluidly by Asuka. Every maneuver she would do, and they were in submission holds, anything she could do, Asuka was always 3 steps ahead of her, and she just could not deal with it. Emma would get up on the ringside, started talking smack to Asuka, who gave her a back fist, knocking her to the floor. And then, oh man, Asuka locked in a German suplex and then hit a jumping armbar on Dana, and there was just nothing she could do at this point, and it looked like she was going to give it up there. The crowd chanting, Asuka City, Asuka City, and then Asuka would flip it around, moving as she was throughout this entire match, and then she got in the Asuka lock. And if you're not familiar with that, my friends, that is a cross-faced chicken wing with body scissors. Asuka winning by submission and didn't even break a sweat. The match was over. She got her hand raised, the crowd going bananas for Asuka, and then Dana Brooks had the gall to get up and try to go after her, and she took her out, bang, with a kick for her troubles, kicking her straight down to the mat. Unbelievable. The women down there and throughout the division, look out, because this lady here is going for the gold and going for it quick. Love you, Bailey, Sasha, everybody down there in NXT, but I'm just telling you, this woman is going to wreak havoc. The mistress of strong style, Asuka. We then see a trainer working on Finn Balor's leg with Samoa Joe standing by, looking pretty concerned about his tag team partner. Got to be thinking about what's going to go on in this next tag match they have. Is he going to be doing this on his own? Is, just what's going to happen? And then we get another Nia Jax vignette, who thankfully will finally debut next Wednesday night on NXT, 8 p.m. As always, fine, been waiting a long time to see this member of the Samoan dynasty, Nia Jax. Next match we have is Prince Pretty himself, Tyler Breeze, going up against Apollo Crews. Two guys that are way over, and this was a surprise match of the night for me. Apollo and Tyler went to war tonight. Breeze's intensity, brutality just took me by surprise. This was Breeze making his mark in the sand and telling him that I own this spot in this company. Apollo Crews was not going to lay down for Prince Pretty. Already having an amazing run in NXT, he was here to tell everybody that he belonged here at the top of the food chain, and this would be Apollo's biggest foe since debuting in NXT, and both men unleashed their entire arsenal and gave no quarter. Unbelievably hard-hitting match by Prince Pretty, who was outweighed, outsized, and outpowered by Apollo Crews. But you wouldn't think so by the way that he just full-on attacked Crews. I mean, not just with strength, but great moves. He hit him with a killer sharpshooter. Apollo hitting back with vicious clotheslines, drop kicks, enziguris. Apollo Crews, for a big man, does stuff that guys the size of Breeze normally do. He can high fly and do it all. Being 6'1" and I think, 265, something like that. But Breeze, like I said, he wouldn't be outdone here either. He hit the Apollo Crews with a supermodel kick. Yes, it was a super kick party here at NXT TakeOver. Respect, and he almost got Tyler the win with this kick. Neither men would submit. Neither men would be pinned here. These guys just continued to beat on each other and try for submissions and just knocking each other all over the ring. Outstanding match. Blew me away. Breeze actually countering Apollo's finisher. Apollo Crews, then what he did was he nailed Tyler Breeze with an absolutely sick toss-up in the air power bomb that he got for the 3 count, because Prince Pretty was done with that strike to the mat. Definite match of the night contender. Probably going to be one of the match of the year contenders. And so far, every single match on this card has been outstanding. Commercials in, which I'm not going to go into, about WrestleMania tickets, which go on sale November 6th, and the whole shamil. You can get that on the network. Go to WWE.com, whatever you want to do. What we're going to talk about is, most important, the Tag Team Classic Finals. Baron Corbin, Rhyno going up against Samoa Joe and the NXT champion Finn Balor. You knew this was going to be a monumental match, because you can't go wrong with these 4 guys. These weren't the 4 guys I expected to be in the match, but it is what it is. We had Finn Balor and Rhyno starting out, shockingly, with Finn with the bad left knee. Both men trying to lock up, but Balor keeping Rhyno at bay, a little apprehensive, and actually engaging each other. Rhyno would tag in Corbin, and then Finn Balor drop kicked Corbin and tagged in Joe, who took the big man down with massive strikes, kicks, punches. Corbin then hit Joe with a big slam, and then began working over the Samoan submission machine, tagging in Rhyno, who continued to work over Joe, hit him with a belly-to-belly for a 2 count pin attempt. Joe was in enemy territory in the far corner. Rhyno tagging out to Baron Corbin, and Joe desperately needed to tag out, and just maybe he held on too long with this, knowing that Balor had the bad knee, and he got caught in a bad situation, and he was getting beat down big time. Corbin just decimating Samoa Joe in the corner with running lariats, and then hitting him with a big boot in the middle of the ring. Joe would come out of nowhere and hit an enziguri on Corbin in the corner. Joe then made the tag to Finn Balor, who drop kicked Corbin, enziguri'd on Corbin, and then Rhyno came in and took out the champ's bad knee from the floor. Then Baron Corbin began working on Balor's leg, running it and ramming it into the ring post, dropping elbows on the knee. Finn was in serious jeopardy. His knee badly injured in this match. Corbin then hit the champ with a black hole slam for almost a 2 count. Not quite 3, amazingly. Corbin just battering Balor, who out of nowhere nailed him with a sling blade, and tagged out to Joe, who came in as Corbin tagged out to Rhyno. It was Joe and Rhyno going up against each other, and Joe just dominated Rhyno for a while. Back and forth, Rhyno would gore Joe for the pin, and it was 1, 2, and Balor comes in and breaks up the count. That close, my friends. We almost had the win right then and there, but it would turn out Samoa Joe would hit that muscle buster, and as he was putting him up, Balor was telling him, tag me in, tag me in. Joe tagged him in. Muscle buster up, boom, to the ground. Balor up for the coup de grace, hit it perfectly on Rhyno for the 1, the 2, and the 3. And your first ever Dusty Rhodes Classic champions, the winners. The NXT champion Finn Balor, the Samoan submission machine, Samoa Joe, a former world champion in Impact Wrestling, multiple tag team titles throughout his career, all kinds of gold everywhere he's been. To have him here in NXT winning this trophy is a good sign in my eyes that Triple H, who personally had him brought in because he's been trying to get him in for quite a long time, is backing Samoa Joe. And I would expect Joe to be making his way to the main roster pretty soon, although I really don't want to see him go. I want these guys in NXT to stay. I want NXT to grow and be a third brand extension, to be as big as SmackDown, as big as Raw, and just run this on their own. And I really think in the back of his head is what Hunter wants to do. Whether that will happen with Vince right now, it's hard to say. I mean, they keep moving some guys up, back and forth with how that works out. But I digress. We had a beautiful Dusty Rhodes tribute here. Cody came out, Dustin Rhodes, with Dusty's widow, the grandkids. Cody gave a great, emotional but not teary-eyed speech about his dad and how NXT, how much the fans are behind the product, how we're so involved and how they are so involved with us, that NXT is all about all of us being Rhodeses. That's right. You're a Rhodes. You're a Rhodes. You're a Rhodes back there. Fat boy, you're a Rhodes too. Honey, the way you're looking, yeah, you're a Rhodes anyway. I'm a Rhodes. Everybody's a Rhodes. Then the champs hoisted up that trophy, and it's beautiful. I mean, you got to see this online. I'm going to post pictures on my Twitter account at You Got This Show on Twitter. Check them out. Just a tremendous, tremendous trophy that they made. I love it. It's just really awesome and a great tribute to the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. They hit the American Dream music and the crowd started chanting, "Thank you, Dusty, thank you, Dusty." It was just awesome. This whole thing that was done for the Rhodes family and for Dusty's memory, total class by the WWE. Total class by Triple H, by Stephanie McMahon, by Vince, John Laurinaitis, Kevin Dunn, everybody, every guy on this roster, every girl on this roster, whether it's NXT, Raw, SmackDown, you all were affected one way or another by Dusty Rhodes in being a wrestler, working in this company, or just having that desire, that drive as Dusty Rhodes, as a mentor, as a role model, as a kid, whatever it was. Dusty Rhodes was one of the greatest performers in pro wrestling history. Don't get it crossed. And by God, if you don't know much about Dusty Rhodes, my friend, you're watching the network, get on there and start watching them old WCW, NWA days and checking Dusty out. Even when he came in with the polka dots with Sapphire, baby, and he was up there dancing and doing what the American Dream Dusty Rhodes did, baby. But let's get away from that and get to the one that everybody's been talking about for weeks. The main event. First time ever main event by the women's championship on the line. Bayley defending against former NXT women's champion, the Boss, Sasha Banks. This would not be a regular match. No. Not only would it be headlining NXT TakeOver Respect, this would be an Ironman match, 30 minutes. This is the 10th Ironman match in WWE history. And the first women's match, Ironman, for the women's title, for the NXT women's title, for the whole shebang, fans. Sasha Banks would make her way out, and the crowd just exploded, cheering and chanting for Bayley over top of her music and everything. It was this crowd. It was 100% behind Bayley, and Sasha actually seemed to look a little disturbed about that, but she kept her demeanor going. But you could tell that she was, I think, surprised by the crowd. Then Bayley, her music hit. She comes out. She's got her new outfit with a great kind of gimmick robe, wings type of thing, and she's decked out in Iron Man, Marvel Comics, the Avengers Iron Man colors of the gold and red, and it just looked really, really cool. Marking out, it was awesome. The crowd just going completely crazy for this woman. The crowd's chanting women's wrestling, and I mean, I didn't hear one cheer for Sasha at this time. It was all Bayley. And again, as I've stated, Bayley is the greatest white meat baby face that the WWE has ever created. She's a WWE original. She didn't come from anywhere else. This character, this person, born and bred, basically, in the WWE, created down in NXT. And I really think, Bayley, is Bayley. Just notched up, 100 degrees. But she's over. Huge. This girl, this woman is just unbelievably over. I haven't seen something like this that's so organic in ages. there's no way that they expected this, that Bayley was going to be this. I think Bayley, they looked at, she was going to be good. She would be like the enhancement talent per se for the Flairs, for the Banks, for Emma, who was up there at the time, and for Paige, and Bayley just took off and took off and took off. Even with little Izzy, the girl in the crowd that's there every show, she was there tonight. And just get into it here. Everything's done in the ring. The bell goes. Both combatants very apprehensive and locking up. And then it gets hot. They get moving. There's frequent pin attempts, trading back and forth between both opponents. A brutal drop kick to Bayley by Sasha Banks. The crowd now does start going with some let's go Bayley, let's go Sasha. Bayley then takes control with a double shot of a painful takedown. Bayley gets out of a bank statement strike, and Sasha gets away from a Bayley to Bayley. They then shake hands out of respect, so it seems, until Banks grabs the champ by the back of her hair and yanks her down to the mat. Bayley is infuriated. She comes back with a brutal, aggressive, I've never seen Bayley like this, and she just took the boss out to the floor. They go at it out there. They get back in the ring, and then Sasha winds up throwing a thumb in Bayley's eye and steals the first fall at around the 20-minute mark. Bayley's intensity and aggressive ring work here is, again, it's quite un-Bayley-like, and just proves how much this title means to Bayley. And she would then do she just lighting this match up with her intensity and style. And it would be a Bayley to Bayley suplex to the boss at the 18-minute for a pinfall. It's now 1-1. Sasha then takes Bayley out of the ring to the floor, throwing Bayley into the steel steps. And she would not hit the steps once, but she would not hit it twice. There would be 3 strikes to this steel steps right in front of Bayley's family. And then Sasha starts talking smack to Bayley's mother. I mean, the boss was on fire tonight. She was in full boss mode. Sasha Bayley, where they're using her up on the main roster, she should be running the Bellas, not the other way around. And hopefully that changes pretty quick. Sasha Banks threw Bayley, taking her all the way up the ramp, slams her into the clock wall there. She gets back to the ring, and the champ is counted out, and Sasha is up 2-1. Bayley is hurt, and hurt badly. She makes her way back towards the ring. The ring count is broken, which I think was a mistake by the former champion, and she throws Bayley back into the ring for a 2 count, and then just starts brutalizing Bayley and working over her back, hits her with a nasty backbreaker. Sasha then put Bayley in a modified Boston Crab. Bayley flipped the boss over for the 3 count, and we're at 2-2 around the 12-minute mark. Again, this match was so crazy and intense and just moving and moving and moving and moving. I can't give it justice here, but I'm giving you the best I can in my play-by-play, if you will. Bayley nailing Sasha with double axe handles, just tearing across the ring, digging in deep and running repeatedly into Sasha, who was down in the corner. Bayley then went off the top rope, hitting the former champion for a near fall 2 count. Then Sasha is put up in the tree of woe, and Bayley hits a springboard off the bottom rope, elbow to the face. I mean, this is a new Bayley. The brutality, just unreal here. Just taking it to her former friend who betrayed her. The whole deal. You know the story. Now, we wind up with Bayley in the Tree of Woe after making a mistake getting up on the top turnbuckle. And Sasha hits her with a double knee drop for a 2 count. Almost 3. So many near falls in this match. Sasha then hung Bayley up again and put Bayley in that Tree of Woe, but she would get loose and she tossed Sasha Banks to the floor, and then Bayley started slamming Banks' hand into the steel steps, just like had occurred in their former match, damaging her hand. She had actually broken Bayley's hand back in that former event. So she's definitely trying to do the same in payback fashion. Sasha and Bayley are then back in the ring, and she snaps Sasha Banks' arm over the ropes to the floor. Bayley then gets down, the steps are moved up, and then she runs and comes flying off the steps with a flying clothesline, nailing Sasha Banks, and then gives her a Bayley to Bayley on the concrete floor, throwing Sasha back in the ring for yet another 2 count. At this point, insanity doesn't even give you what's going on in this match. The crowd, the combatants, everybody is just on the edge of their seat. They're up screaming their minds out. This is just one of the greatest matches I've ever seen. Banks, she hits a belly-to-belly suplex on the champion and then locks in the Banks statement, and we are at the 90-second mark remaining in this Ironman match. Bayley would then continue to fight and try to get to the ropes and could not. The former champ actually could not get a full lock in with her hands because of the damage to that left hand. And at one point there, Bayley would grab those fingers and torque them and jam them down into the mat. And due to that, Bayley was able to reverse the Banks statement and put the boss in a submission armbar. Sasha Banks, the boss, the former NXT champion, tapping out at the 2-second mark. Give or take, it might have been 5. I think it was right at the 2-second mark that she actually tapped. Bayley kicking her in the head. I mean, this was brutality by Bayley, showing you how much aggression she had towards the boss for what she had put her through. And 3-2, little Izzy crying in the stands. Bayley retaining her women's title in NXT. The crowd was spent. The combatants were spent. Both women in tears. The entire roster came out and were celebrating with the fans. I'm talking every single member of the roster. The crew, everybody was out. Stephanie McMahon out there. Lita, Charlotte, Becky. Like I said, big sexy Kevin Nash was out there. Funaki was out there. Hideo Itami was out there. Bouquets for both women. Sasha weeping heavily on the floor. Everybody surrounding her, holding her up, lifting her up. Bayley in the middle of the ring. Triple H giving her the bouquet. Holding that title up. She is the champion. It was not a 3-second fluke. This Ironman match proving that. And again, this was just an outstanding show by NXT. One of the best, if not the best. I am just ecstatic about this. I want to know what you think. I want you to leave your comments down below. hit subscribe. All right, hit the like button, and then follow us at One Wrestling. OneWrestling.com, One Wrestling Video on YouTube. Bill Apter at Apter One Wrestling, and on YouTube at the Apter Chat, where you get the best in interviews by the master, the icon, the boss, Bill Apter. You kidding me? What? Then you got my tag team partners of the Big Slam Nation. Big Ray at Big Ray Show on Twitter. BillyRayValentine at BillyRayHustle. The Professor Quintana, Professor PROFPW Hustle. The dirtiest in the city, 8-Track Brown. You hit him at Pharaoh of Fancy. And Fame Black at Fame Black. Follow us all on Twitter. Check us out as we do our thing here at One Wrestling. I am the NXT News and Reviews reporter. Official for NXT. That's me. The show. You got the show. I handle Ring of Honor, Ringside Report, the Indie Roundup. Big Ray handling all the major events and news breaks and the like affecting the business in a big way. Previews of pay-per-views and the like. All kinds of big things are coming down the pike, my friends. Make sure you get on board at Big Slam Nation on Twitter. And, we all talk, tweet, get involved with our friends online on Twitter. And just be part of this as we continue to grow our clique, if you will, here at One Wrestling. And, Billy Ray, he does the Raw reports. And like I said, we got all kinds of stuff going. Can't get into all of it because it's too much. And when it happens, it's just going to be outstanding news and views, opinions, and everything to do with pro wrestling. Interviews with the talent in the ring, talent outside of the ring. It can be anybody at any time. That's what we bring to you. Again, I am the show, Bill Schuyler. Follow me on Twitter at You Got This Show. Bill Apter has his book out, Is Wrestling Fixed? I Didn't Know It Was Broken. You can get that at your favorite bookseller, Barnes & Noble, online, Barnes & Noble in the store. You can get it at Amazon. You can get it pretty much anywhere in the world now. That's how the internet works. It's good like that. It's been an outstanding night. I am jacked. I wanted to get this out to you guys right away because it felt like I was actually in the arena. I wish to God I was. Outstanding. And I want to know what you think. Hit me up. Like I said, leave the messages below here. Subscribe and like us. Get us going here on YouTube. And let's run this brother up on Twitter. It's all good, brother. This is here for wrestling. And as things go, can't talk about everything. It's a story for another day. And I'll see you down the road. Boom.